That's true. Because they want a clean picture, and you don't want them to have to do that again until the next 10 years. And it ain't like, oops, I drunk some red. That's on me. So what I'm saying is that stuff pushed out, and it was automatic. It was automatic. I mean, you can stand there, you can cross your legs, you can squeeze, you can grab a ball or whatever you want to do. That's not going to work. Because what's on the inside of you, from what they gave us, that stuff pushed everything out. So I don't have to tell you, or shouldn't have to tell you, to stop cussing. If you got Jesus in you, he's going to push cussing out of you. If he's in there. Now that's now that's a whole nother question. Because he pushes out hate. I don't have to tell you to stop hating. He will push it out if he's in there. Okay? Because he dominates. The transformation you will experience when it is not based on your own discipline and self-control is truly effortless. It was effortless. I didn't have to push and squeeze. All I had to do was find the restroom. I ain't had to nothing, ain't strain or nothing. Why? Because of what was inside of me. So if Jesus is inside of us as well as the other stuff is inside of us, then why ain't he pushing out stuff? So when it's effortless, it is no longer, how can I overcome this anger problem? Or how will I beat this cigarette addiction? Or how can I curb this habit of overeating when I'm stressed and insecure? When a person makes these kind of statements, it shows, Nita, that they are trying, and that precisely is the problem. You're trying instead of relying. Christianity is about surrender, not control. Notice, watch this. I'm getting ready to show you some illustrations, Maxine. Nowhere in the Old Testament, nowhere, from Genesis to Malachi, nowhere, Sylvia, did God ever tell anybody to try anything. Nowhere. In the New Testament, you would, and I'm getting ready to show you, you never find from Matthew to Revelation where Jesus asked anybody to try anything. What do we hear in church? Pastor, I'm trying. That's the problem. That's why you ain't making it. He didn't ask them to try to tithe. He said, bring ye. You follow? He didn't say, now try it. Bring. Okay? Watch this. I'm going to prove my point. God told Abraham to take his only son to a mountain, Petri, and sacrifice him. He didn't tell him to try to carry out the sacrifice. Now Abraham, and I know Sarah, I know that's her baby, and I know, can you try to get him to the mountain? And just try it. I know it's going to hurt you because this is he didn't do that. He said, get the boy to the mountain. He didn't tell him to try. God told Moses to go forward through the sea. He didn't tell him to try to make it across. Moses, just try it. I know that it seems impossible, but try it, Rosie. Try it. Just try to get through. He didn't tell him that. He didn't tell him that. He told Moses to go forward when the command didn't ease the conscience, but rather it put it on edge. The command seemed ridiculous at best, crazy at worst. I mean, it's in there. Javon, it's in there. Does that Javon look like the back of your head? Yeah, that's my little nephew. Well, he ain't little no more, but that's my nephew. When the children of Israel got to Marah and the water was bitter, God didn't tell Moses to try to throw a stick in the water. He said, throw it in there. Well, Moses, now try. And as I was messing with Andrew earlier, Delbert, when God tells us something, or when God's representative tells you something, you ought to rely on them being in tune with God, not looking at him funny. Like Andrew looked at me funny earlier. Now, think about this. Tommy, they was thirsty. They were going all out here, and they say they thirsty to death. They're lying. They get to Mara, and the water is bitter. They said, God, we got a problem. The water's bitter, we can't drink it. Watch this. He says, well, get a stick and throw it in the water. Wait a minute. A stick. A stick. I mean, you're God, right? I mean, can't you do like some crystal light, rain it down, or some equal, or some saccharin? I mean, the water is bitter. What is a stick going to do to... So, God, let me get this straight. You asking me to throw a dirty stick in the dirtier water, and somehow it's going to be sweet. When they did what he said, the water was sweet. Do what he tell you. Do what his representative tell you, and don't look at him funny. When the Israelites got thirsty and thought they were going to die, God told Moses to speak to the rock. Now, we're going to look at that a little bit later. He didn't tell Moses to try and squeeze water out of the rock. He said, talk to it. God told Joshua to march around the wall of Jericho for 7 days, once a day, and on the seventh day, 7 times, everybody shout. He didn't tell them, Joshua, try to make sure everybody shows up. He said, you tell everybody to show up and do this. God told Elijah to get to the brook Cherith. That's before Jordan. He didn't tell him, try to get there. He said, get there. I ain't got no ride. Get there. I ain't got nobody to take me. Do y'all got relatives? Because I know I ain't the only one. I don't even need to ask the question. You do have them. You do have relatives that call you and they need something from you, okay? Now, they can never get to, if you want them, they can never get to your house. But when they need $50, if it's winter and you say, meet me at 3 in the morning, or Uncle, I'll be there. Well, wait a minute. So you can get here. You know what I mean? Oh, now you can get, because you want something from, you can get here. But when I need something, oh, you know I ain't got no way to get there, Keisha. Oh, but when you need something from me, you can say, okay, well, just you a throw a time out there trying to throw them off like 2 in the morning. Oh, I'll be there. I was kidding. But the point is, you can do what you want to do. Because folk are too broke to look as good as they do. And then come to the church and say, can you pay my phone bill, my cable bill, or my whatever? You got on, your shoes cost more. I'm adding stuff up. Like, okay, you got on $750 and you asking us for $450? Take half of it off. Okay, y'all know what I'm talking about. Folk can do what they want to do. He didn't say try to get there. Then once the brook dried up, he told him to go to Zarephath because he had a woman waiting to sustain him there. He didn't tell Elijah, try your hardest to get there. He said, get there. Why ain't you go to the job interview? Oh, man, you know I ain't had no ride. How'd you get to Battle Creek Central's game? Oh, I called my boy. Oh, so you can call your boy to go to a game, but your boy won't take you to a job interview. I see. You didn't want to go to the job interview. I understand. That's God in the Old Testament. Watch this. Jesus in the New Testament told James and John, drop your nets and follow me and I'll make you fishers of men. He didn't say, try to leave your post. No, Stephen, he said, come follow me. He told Matthew to leave the tax booth, not to try to put in your 2 weeks notice first. Jesus told the blind man to go wash at the pool of Siloam. He didn't tell the blind man to try to make it to the pool. I know you can't see, man, but just try. You've been bumping into stuff all your life. A few more times ain't gonna hurt. The man is blind. He tells him, go to the pool. Jesus knew he couldn't see, but he could. Right? You're going to find the pool. If you want your sight, you're going to find that pool. And he found it and was blind. And we got 2 eyes and can't see. Jesus told a man that was, watch this, lame for 38 years, rise, take up your bed and walk. He didn't tell the man to try to see if his legs had strength. And this is the kind of Jesus we serve. Now, Henry, the man had not walked in 38 years. He couldn't walk. And Jesus tells him to do something he couldn't do. He said, get up and take up your bed and walk. Like, wait a minute. If you got all knowledge, you know I can't walk. Right? So what are you telling me to? He said, rise, take up your bed. And what did the man do? The man who couldn't walk, he listened to Jesus, he obeyed Jesus, and when he obeyed him, somehow walk got in his leg. Because he wasn't relying on his not legs moving, he was relying on what Jesus told him. Jesus, you know I can't do that. You know I ain't get but to the 8th grade. You know I can't read. You know I ain't going to get that job. He said, okay, all right. And then what happens? You don't get the job because you spoke it into existence. Because I can't do that. Oh, okay. Jesus told Peter, watch this, get out of the boat. He didn't tell Peter to at least give it a good try. As long as Peter relied on his relationship and his faith, he was able to do the extraordinary. But when he tried reasoning and his feelings, it was not until Peter tried to do it that he began to sink. As long as he relied on Jesus, he was walking on it. It wasn't until he tried he started to sink. On a hillside, when the crowds increased and the food decreased, Jesus told the disciples, feed the crowd. He didn't tell them to try to manage the food supply. All we got is 2 fish and 5 little loaves of bread. Man, they ain't going to feed on these, you know what? He said, did I tell you to count the people? Feed them. He simply told them to feed the people. The disciples had fished all night, hadn't caught anything. Master fisherman. Here come Jesus, a carpenter, and said, launch back out in the deep for a great catch. Great catch? Dude, it's the morning. Everybody know the fish come up to the shore at night. During the night. It's morning time. We cleaning the nets. We done. Jesus said, go back to where you failed. Jesus, I went out there and I failed. He said, no. You failed because I wasn't in the boat. So he'll send you back to where you failed on your own and says it's going to be different, Sylvia, because I'm with you. See, last time you tried that, you tried it without me. Put me in the equation. I know that's the same place you failed. I know that's where they find. I know that's where they told you no, but I wasn't with you. Take me with you. Okay? Now, I said all that to say this. God and Jesus wanted the people to rely on them instead of trying to figure something out in their little intellect and resources. It's the same way with us. Quit trying and start relying. Okay? I'm getting ready to give you some scriptures to show you when people tried, they failed. And these were some of God's best servants. Numbers. This is not on your paper, but you can write it down. It'll be on the screen, but you can write them down. Numbers chapter 12. Not 12, I'm sorry, Nicole. Numbers chapter 20, verses 7 through 12. Watch this. If you get nothing else tonight, get this one fact. Stop trying and start relying. I'm getting ready to show you when people tried, they failed. When they relied, they were successful. Watch this, Pam. And the Lord spake unto Moses, and this is what he said. He said, take the rod. You remember the rod that raised the Red Sea. He said, take the rod, gather thou the assembly together, you and Aaron, your brother, and this is what I want you to do. I want you to speak ye to the rock before their eyes, and it shall give forth his water, and thou shalt bring forth to them water out of the rock. So shalt thou give the congregation and their beasts to drink. They thirsty, the animals thirsty. Okay? God says, this is what you do. Latrice, you speak to the rock. Okay? You got that, Nicole? Speak to the rock. Zoe, speak to the rock. Titus, speak to the rock. Speak to the, what he got there, Petra? The superhero. Okay. Now watch this. Watch this, Nicole. And Moses took the rod from before the Lord as he commanded him. Watch this. And Moses and Aaron gathered together the congregation before the rock. And this is what he said. Hear now, you rebels. Now, y'all can take rebels out, and to get you what Moses put in, just put in them words you used to use. So, he called them rebels, but what he was saying is, hear ye now, you blank blanks. Y'all got me? That's what he was saying to them, Nita. Must we fetch you water out of the rock? Now, can somebody tell me, Dr. Matthews, saying that when did God tell Moses to call them rebels? He told them to speak to the rock. And Moses and Aaron gathered together. Must we fetch you water out of the rock? Well, wait a minute. They wasn't getting no water. Watch. You just listen to me. Watch. And Moses lifted up his hand, and with his rod, he smote the rock twice. He was so mad, he said, I tell you them 2 words. You know how black folk do. Every word they say, they hit you with the word. He said, you. It's twice. So you know what he called them? The conjunction word. You. Yeah. So he hit him twice. And each time he said, you. That's what he said. I know you don't say it. See what I mean? And then the water came out, and the congregation, everybody drank, and the beast was happy. But watch verse 12, because everybody ain't happy. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron and said, you know what? You didn't believe me. Now what he's saying here, he said, oh, you ain't going to rely on me, huh? You're going to try to do this thing your way. You're not going to rely on me for the water to come out the rock. You're going to try this thing your way. And he said, because you did this, you ain't coming into the promised land, blood. Now Moses done a million things right. He done this one wrong one. And God said, you ain't getting in, dude. So he had to stand on Mount Pisgah and look in the promised land because I couldn't get there. Why? I didn't rely on God, and I hit the rock twice. And I called them some blank blanks. He didn't rely on God. He relied on him. Okay? Watch this. 2 Samuel chapter 24. 2 Samuel chapter 24. We're going to look at verse 1. And then we're going to look at 9 through 14. And we're going to see how a side of God you probably never seen before. Watch this. And again, the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel. And he moved David against them to say, go number Israel and Judah. Now, when they say he moved David to do that, you remember when he said he hardened Pharaoh's heart? He didn't harden Pharaoh's heart. He allowed what was in Pharaoh's heart to come out. So he didn't make David do this. He allowed David to do what David wanted to do. Watch this. So he numbered the people. And then Joab gave up the sum of the number of the people unto the king. And there were in Israel 800,000. That's a lot of people. Valiant men that drew the sword. And the men of Judah were 500,000. That's a lot of folk. David happy because he got a lot of folk. But watch this. 9 through 14. Was that 9, sweetie? That was 9? And David's heart smote him after he had numbered the people. Brush down back. And David said unto the Lord, I have sinned greatly in that I have done. And now I beseech thee, O Lord, take away the iniquity of thy servant, for I have done very foolishly. What David did is he counted them folk. And he saw the number that he had. And he got beside himself, and God said, oh, wait a minute. So you ain't relying on me, huh? You relying on all them folk you got. You see what I'm saying? He ain't relying on God. God said, you forgot that I was the Lord of hosts, and now you are trusting in your army. You're no longer trusting in me. Watch this. So David said, Lord, please, Lord, just give me some mercy. So then David was up in the morning. Then the word of the Lord came unto the prophet Gad, David's seer, and this is what he said to him. This is a part of God you probably ain't never seen before. Watch this. He said, go and say to David, thus said the Lord, I'll offer you 3 things. Choose one of them that I may do it unto you. God said, I'm going to punish you, but I'm going to give you 3 ways, and you pick. I'm getting ready to show you. He told him, oh, no, you getting it. I'm coming down on you, but I'm going to let you choose how I come down on you. Watch this. Here's the 3 ways. So Gad came to David, told him and said, listen, shall 7 years of famine come into thee in the land? Or will you flee 3 months from before your enemies while they pursue you? Or that they be 3 days of pestilence in the land? Now advise and see what answer I shall return to him that sent me. So God said, oh, I'm going to get that tail. I'm going to let you choose the belt, the extension cord, or the lamp. But you getting it. Y'all see what did you see that? Yeah. Oh, you getting it. But you can choose, baby. You can choose the new rope. Now, ain't none of them good, Stephanie. Watch this. So watch this. And David said unto Gad, I am in a great strait. Let us fall now into the hand of the Lord. He said, for at least his mercies are great, and let me not fall into the hand of man. Now, David told us something about God there. He knew that even though God was going to punish him, he knew God is just. He said, if y'all put me in the hands of them folk, they're going to forget they ever sinned and ain't sinned. They're going to beat me to death. He said, at least God will have mercy. He said, but if y'all turn me loose to them people, shh. Exodus chapter 16, 1 through 4. Again, he relied on his army. He counted them. He counting his people, and God going, oh, so you ain't relying on me, huh? Exodus 16, 1 through 4. Watch this. And then we're going to look at Exodus. And remember, the point I'm pushing is that I want us to stop trying and start relying. Because as you see thus far, everybody who has tried failed. Those who relied made it. Watch this. And they took their journey from Elim, and all the congregation of the children of Israel came unto the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai, on the 15th day of the 2nd month after their departing out of the land of Egypt. Watch this. And the whole congregation of the children of Israel murmured against Moses. Now, y'all know how many folk was in that congregation? Between 3 to 6 million people. Can you imagine every day just talking about you? Pastor Angel, Pastor, blah, 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 blah. Here he is praying for these folk, getting them water out of rock, and they complaining. And the children of Israel said unto him, would to God we had died by the hand of the Lord in Egypt, when we sat by the flesh pots, and when we did eat bread to the full. See, that's the problem with some of us. All we want to do is get full. You can do anything to us if you feed us. Now, they beating them, making them make brick out of straw, and they happy because at least we full, Kermit. At least we got to go to the Egyptian buffet. For you have brought us forth into this wilderness to kill this whole assembly with hunger. Now they hungry. They starving to death. As we say, we ain't ate in 2 hours. I'm about to starve. No, you're not about to starve. Truth is, you could go 2 weeks or 2 months. You'll be fine. Then said the Lord to Moses, behold, I will rain bread from heaven for you, and the people shall go out, here's the thing, and gather a certain rate every day, that I may prove them, that I may test them, whether they will walk in my law or not. So don't just get a certain rate every day. Watch this. Watch this. Now we're going to jump, Nicole, to verses 12 through 21 of the same Exodus 16. Watch this, Keisha. Get a certain rate every day. He says, I have heard the murmurings of the children of Israel, speaking to them, saying, at even you shall eat flesh, and in the morning you shall be filled with bread, and ye shall know that I am the Lord your God. Now when he's saying eat flesh, he ain't saying cannibalism. That's what they call the birds and the meat and the stuff. You eat the flesh and the bread. And it came to pass, here it is, that even the quails came up, and God covered the camp, and in the morning dew lay all around the host. So they got hungry. God fed them bread, and then he rained quail in with the east wind. He just said, come here, wind. And quail just came. Pop! So they got flesh and quail and bread. Okay? Now watch this. Where we at, sweetie? Oh, yeah, we're going to just keep going to 21. Yeah. 15, watch. It'll come at, there it is. I told you, rely on, just believe me. And when the children of Israel saw it, they said to one another, it's manna. They didn't know what it was, for they wished not know what it was. See, and Moses said unto them, this is the bread which the Lord has given you to eat. You complain about you're hungry. He raining down Red Lobster biscuits for you. Now watch this. This is the thing which the Lord hath commanded. Gather of it every man according to his eating, and omer for every man according to the number of your persons. Take you every man for them which are in his tents. Okay, take enough for you and your family. Don't be getting stuff for your auntie and your cousins, nephew on your mama's side. You to get enough for you, Petri, and James, and Tommy, and Aunt Honey. Okay, don't be trying to take none to everybody else. So the children of Israel did so, but watch this. Rhonda, some gathered some more and some less. No, okay. And then when they measured it out with an omer, he that gathereth much had nothing over, and he that gathered little had no lack. They gathered every man according to his eating. Watch this. And Moses said, let no man leave of it till the morning. Now remember, Moses has heard from God, so he's coming telling them what God said. He said, don't let no man leave of it. Notwithstanding, they didn't listen to Moses. I can talk to God for myself. I ain't got to listen to him. Who you think he is? Well, just keep watching. Now Moses told them what to do. Bump him. I ain't think about him. Okay. So they didn't listen to Moses. But some of them left it until the morning. And then when they went and got it, it was worms on it. See, when you don't listen, God will send you worms. And it stank. Now the worm's bad enough, Henry. Now it's stinking. And Moses was mad at them because they didn't do what he told them. Now watch this. Now we're going to pick up in and then they gathered every morning, every man according to his eating, and then when the sun hit it, it waxed hot and it melted. They just having a bad day. Now watch verses 20 through to 24. And it came to pass that on the 6th day they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omers for one man, and all the rulers of the congregation came and told Moses. And then he said unto them, this is that which the Lord hath said, tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath unto the Lord. Bake that which you will bake today, seethe that which you will seethe, and that which remaineth over lay up for you to be kept until the morning. Now watch what happened when they did what the man of God told them. And they laid it up to the morning as Moses bade them, and it, watch this, it did not stink, neither was there worms. Also, when they paid attention, when they did what God told Moses to tell, when they relied on God through the man of God, there wasn't no worms. Wasn't nothing stinking. So if you ever sit next to a member and they stinking, just say, you must ain't did what the pastor said. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, Dr. Matthew. I'm just kidding. If they, because don't say that, because some of y'all will say it in a minute. Pastor said you stink. I'm kidding. You see what happens when you do what God says? When they relied on God, it worked. When they tried it on their own, they had worms and stink. Now worm bad enough. Worm and stink. Judges chapter 16. Again, if I'm push one point home tonight, everybody gonna leave here relying and not trying. If I hear any member of Macedonia say they're trying to do anything, we're gonna hit you. Bam! Right in the mouth, because that's where it came out. You doing what? You trying? Bam! Okay? It ain't abuse. I already called the police and I already told them so. It's okay. So you calling them ain't gonna help. They're gonna reroute the number back here. Watch this. Samson and Delilah. Remember, Delilah has tried him a few times, and she trying to get the, Samson is, he thinking one way, she thinking another way. He thinking romance, she thinking finance. She thinking Ohio money. That's what she thinking. Right? She all about them Benjamins. So it came to pass, she pressed him daily with her words, urged him so that his soul was vexed to death. She got on his nerves so much, he just like, oh my God, I wish you, oh Jesus. Sam, please tell me your secret. Please, honey, you don't love me. If you love me, you tell me. You don't love me like, like you say you do. That's what, you don't love me. Tell me, Sam, please, Sam, tell me, where your strength lies. So what he did is he tricked her a few times. He told her this. They tried that. He jumped up. He told her another thing. She tried that. Boom, he jumped up. Told her another thing. She said, Samson, the Philistines are on you. Boom. She said, boy, you don't love me. You don't love me. Ricky wouldn't do that to me. You know how they, you know. So then he said, oh, shucks, look what happened. Because remember, she vexed him to death. She vexed him so much, he told her all his heart. That's what the verse said. And he said, there hath not come a razor upon my head, for I have been a Nazarite unto God from my mother's womb. Nazarites couldn't get the haircut, couldn't touch dead animals. They couldn't drink strong drink. So you couldn't be an alcoholic and a Nazarite because you couldn't drink. You couldn't touch dead animals. And so he already messed that up when he was playing with the lion and got the honeycomb. You remember? So he already sinking. So he said, if I be shaven, my strength will go from me and I'll be weak just like any other man. Watch this. Remember, he's thinking his strength is in him. He said, I'll be weak like any other man. Watch. They get to a point where they know. Delilah looked in his eyes. You know, you can see. And she said, oh, I got him now. She said, he told me all his heart. She sent and called for the lords of the Philistines. She knew he wasn't playing. And she said, come this once, for he showed me all his heart. And then they came up and they brought money in their hand. Delilah wasn't interested in Samson. And then she made this big, grown, strong man go to sleep on her knee. He gone. Watch this. Then she called for the man and caused him to shave off the 7 locks of his head. He had a lot of hair. Now, they didn't have NyQuil back then, Maxine. They didn't have NoDoz. But whatever she did or gave Samson, it made him sleep and not wake up when they was cutting his hair. So brother gone. He's like in the 3rd stage. She quit him. And she began to afflict him. And his strength went from him. Now watch what he says. And she said, Samson, the Philistines be upon you. And watch what the brother did. He woke up out of his sleep, and this is what he said. I will go out as other times and shake myself. And he didn't know that the Lord's Spirit left him. Why? He's trusting in his strength. He didn't know that the hair was not the source. The hair was a sign. He got caught up in the sign and forgot God was the source and said, I'm going to go do this like I kicked their butt before. He's trying to do this in his own strength. And poor thing didn't know, spirit gone. Watch this, Rosie, as we pick up on verses 23 through 28. Watch this. Then the Lord of the Philistines gathered them together for to offer a great sacrifice unto Dagon, their God, and to rejoice. For they said, our God hath delivered Samson, our enemy, into our hand. And when the people saw him, they praised their God, for they said, our God hath delivered into our hands our enemy, and the destroyer of our country, which slew many of us. And it came to pass when their hearts were merry. See, they, they had the elbow going. That's when you get married. And this wasn't Christmas either. They like, old English, Colt 45, slit small liquor. Anthony don't know about that stuff. They said, call for Samson, that he may make us sport. And they called for Samson out to prison, and they're going to make a fool out of him. They had him out there going, carrying water back and forth, grinding the mill, and those were jobs that the women did. So they're making fun of him like, Israel, this y'all God. He doing the stuff that we make our women do. They're making fun of him. And they made a mistake, Anthony. They set him between the pillars. Okay, watch this. And Samson said to the little boy that held him by the hand, he said, suffer me, allow me, young man, that I put my hand between the poles. Because remember, they plucked his eyes out, so he can't see. So the young man is leading him, and he said, young man, put me in between, find me the center of the house and put me in between the two posts, because he can't see. And he said, that I may lean upon them. Now watch 27. Now the house was full of men and women, and all the lords of the Philistines were there. Now watch this, y'all. Y'all talking about a house party. They had 3,000 men and women on the roof. So it wasn't no small house, because you can't fit 3,000 of us on the roof. They didn't even counting your cousins Jaquita in the basement. These ends was on the roof. 3,000. That's where the party really started. You know, that's the $100, $50 seats up there. You know, Nicole and Delbert territory. Full of men. And they laughed at him as he made sport. Now watch what he does in 28. And Samson called unto the Lord and said, O Lord God, remember me, I pray you. He said, strengthen me, I pray you, only this once, that I may be avenged for the Philistine for my 2 eyes. Now wait a minute. Why didn't he pray that prayer when she woke him up and said, the Philistines are here? He tried then. Now he relying. It's amazing how when you have 20/20 vision, you can't see, and then when God takes him out, you can see clearly. He's blind now, but he can see God. When he had his eyes, he couldn't. Because I'm Samson. I'm down for mine. And then, you know, God answered his prayer, and then he killed himself as well as all the 3,000, and he killed more in that one act than he did in his whole 20 years of judging. He didn't have to die, but he relied on his own strength. Tried instead of relying on God, and you see where it got him. All right. 2 more scriptures. 2 Chronicles chapter 14. Verses 8 through 12. And Asa had an army of men that bear targets and spears. So he's got an army. They got targets and spears out of Judah. Now there's a lot of people, 300,000. That's a lot of folk. And then out of Benjamin that bear shields, drew bows, he got 280,000. That's a lot of people. And watch this. All these were mighty men of valor. These were generals. They knew how to fight. Okay? They weren't novices. And there came out against them Zerah the Ethiopian with a host of 1,000 and 300 chariots, and came into Marashah. Then Asa went out against him, and they set the battle in array at the valley of that place, and then the other one. And Asa cried unto the Lord his God and said, watch this. It is nothing with you to help, whether with many or with them that have no power. Help us, Lord. For we rest on you, and in your name we go out against this multitude. O Lord, thou art our God. Let not man prevail against you. He didn't say us. Look what he said. If we're here doing this God job for you, they ain't coming against us. They're coming against you. That's what he told him. Now watch what happened. So the Lord smote the Egyptians before Asa and fled before Judah, and the Ethiopians fled. They had military men. They were valiant men. They had all them folk. They had every weapon. You know what they said? We ain't relying on this. We're relying on you. They could have easily said, oh, cool, shucks, we got it, man. We got 30,000 folk with guns. We tight. They said, God, we ain't relying on this. We're relying on you. Okay? This last one, 1 Chronicles chapter 5, verses 18 through 20. The sons of Reuben and the Gadites and half tribe of Manasseh, valiant men, men able to bear buckler and sword and to shoot with the bow. They were good. And they were skillful in war. Look how many. There were 440,703 score. 511, that's what I called it. That's a lot. They went out to war. Watch 19 and 20. And they made war with the Hagarites and them other people too. Watch verse 20. And they were helped against them, and the Hagarites were delivered into their hand, and all that were with them, for they cried to God in the battle, and he was entreated of them. Why? Because they put their trust in him. They didn't rely on their stuff. They said, we're relying on the Lord of hosts. You know when we fail? when we try. Every time you try, you fail. And I fail. Instead of relying. So, I said all of that to say this. God and Jesus wanted the people to rely on them instead of trying to figure something out with their little intellect and little resources. It's the same with us. Quit trying. I'm trying to tithe. Stop. Stop trying and start relying. I'm trying to forgive. No, you ain't. Stop trying and rely on God, the indwelling Holy Spirit, to do it for you. I'm just trying to be nice. No, you're not. Stop trying. It's never going to work. You need to start relying. When we rely instead of try, the fruits of our success will be effortless. Effortless. I told Jada last night, I'm putting her in. I said, Jada, you know, tomorrow I'm going on my for the month, no salt, no sweet, no fried, no sugar, none of that stuff. She said, oh, Daddy, ain't that going to be hard trying to try that? I said, baby, I'm not going to try. I said, I'm not going to try to do that. I said, it's already done in my mind. The root word, disciple, discipline. I'm disciplined enough to do it. It's in my mind. It's already over. It's over now, and I just started. So I'm not trying. So no, it ain't hard. It would be hard if I tried, but I'm not trying. I'm leaving that to the indwelling Christ within, and He changes stuff automatically. Okay. One by one, the addictions, dysfunctions, and negative emotions will begin to drop off from your life like dead leaves and new leaves. That means you got new positive thoughts and you got a new attitude. New flowers, you got new desires and new dreams. New fruit, you got new behaviors and habits, and they will begin to flourish in your life, and they will happen automatically. You know what happens? It happens all the time. You start walking, exercising, okay? I got them old basketball knee injuries, Reverend, and it's amazing now that I'm 51, and I knew when I failed at 13. I knew where I was at. I'm like, that's what that is. That was that hillside. I know it. That's what it is. So I took like a month off from, walking to get and I got my little kicks on so I can, get my knee back. But it's back together, so I'm going to start going back to the gym. But here's what I found out, Anthony. When I start walking and I start eating right, the body shifts automatically. Metabolism changes. I don't get hungry for long periods of time. Everything, it's like the body knows, okay, we need to. I don't have to try to not be hungry. I don't have to try to not eat. The body does that. You see, so I'm not struggling. I can walk by a cake. That stuff don't bother me. And my kids can tell you that because Nicole be cooking and they're coming to my nose. They da 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 da. They do that. That stuff don't bother me. When I make up my mind and say it's over, it's over. And they stop doing it because it don't bother me. Yeah, I can smell the cookies. But that's over with. I ain't eating one because I made up my mind. And the indwelling Christ is stronger than the smell of that cookie. You see what I'm saying? And now my whole body shifts and changes. It goes whoosh, because it knows where it's going. And it's effortless. I'm not trying to do that. It just kicks in and takes over. Okay? Look at what Jesus said in John 15:4-5. He said, abide in me. That means cling, stay, live. Abide in me, and I in you. As the branch cannot bear fruit of itself, except it abide in the vine, no more can ye, except you abide in me. See, the cultivation of fruit is of extreme importance. You see, a machine in a factory can work and turn out a product, but it can never manufacture fruit. Fruit must grow out of life, and in this case, the life of a believer. It's the life of the Spirit. Works produce human energy. Fruit is grown as a branch abides in the vine, according to John 15:5. How many of us in here ever seen a fruit tree? Be it apple tree, pear tree, whatever. They used to have them when we were little. We used to go in the neighborhood and climb the tree. They used to eat all you want. And God took care of it. We ain't wiping nothing out. We did this. Our leg is dirtier than the tree. I don't know why we're doing this. But we ate it and it didn't kill us. Max said they had cherries and apples. And I mean, like in the black neighborhood. Like, yeah, they pie, stuff. They said just don't throw them and like hit windows, but you can eat. Man, we climb up in the tree and eat all day long. We never had to go home except to eat dinner because you could find a raspberry tree somewhere. You just go eat them things, and we don't know if they sprayed them, but they say God looks out for fools and children. He looks out for us. Yeah. So we ate it and it didn't bother us. But have you ever seen fruit trying to grow on the tree? Have you ever seen an apple trying to squeeze out? You ever seen a pear trying to be a pear? All it has to do is stick to the vine and pow! That's what happens to us with God. When you think of works, again, you think of labor, strain, toil. Fruit is a different image. You probably think of quiet beauty and unfolding of life. The two differ as a factor in a garden. Just as the branch derives all of its life and nourishment from the vine, so the believer in Christ derives his or her strength from the true vine and is thus able to live a fruitful and faithful life for God. Now do you see why earlier we used the term effortless change? Because if you abide in, then you don't have to try. All you need to do is rely on the vine. The reason we're trying is because we're trying to do stuff apart from the vine. He's going, stop trying. Just rely on me. Just rely on the help you got. Rely on me. Rely on me. Rely on me. I'm here to help you. Rely on me. It's like a kid trying to open the mayonnaise jar or the pickles, and you sitting right there next to him as the father, just doing like this, and Jada, I got it. I got it. I'm standing right here. I got it, Daddy. I'm fine. Oh, I got it. Fine. 20 minutes later, she's sweating, need to take a shower. Like, do you want me to open that? Daddy, here, why don't you try? If you'd have relied on me 19 minutes ago, you wouldn't have to take a shower. Because now you're dripping, sweating because you. No, I'm saying that's what we do. We do the same thing to God. We rely on our intellect, our money, our skill, and He's going, okay, here I am. It's like wrestlers, tag team wrestlers. You in there getting beat, and the fresh guy going, like, tag me. Oh, I got this. Okay, my nose bleeding, my ear ripped off, half my skull open. I got this. Okay, just keep on. And then when you get tired of getting whooped, you go, tag. Staples. Jesus is your easy button. What you struggling for? Hit it. It's like weights with a spotter. You shouldn't lift them if you don't have one. When you can't get it, you be like, your spotter go, whoop. Jesus going, let me spot you. Rely on your spotter. I'm going to try this. I went to school. I'm smart. Okay. All right. You know how many colleges put out fools and give them degrees? A lot. Do I need to say anything? Look at the 1600 Pennsylvania. Everybody in there went to school. They did. And biggest fools in the world. But they fooling with catching them. And Trump getting tight. He's squeezing. Because Mueller getting on him. Manafort. And that boy, they bait him so easy, saying they bait him. They bait because they know he'd take anything. So they put out, okay, Manafort got caught. This was the stuff before Trump. Trump comes out tweeting the next second. See, told you. As soon as he tweeted that, about 5 minutes later, Mueller came out. Oh, and by the way, he was in your campaign when he did this. You ain't heard a tweet from Donald yet about Mueller. You ain't heard one yet? Because now, bam, now what? Pt2, they get him because he said that Papadopoulos was a good man. Yeah. Well, I don't remember what I said. Well, we do because we got it on tape, Donald. I don't even know George Papadopoulos. They said, well, explain this picture that y'all in together. They just digging. And then he said, what did y'all talk about in the meeting? He said, I don't know. They pulls up a tape in 2015. He says, I got a perfect memory. So you got a perfect memory and you don't know what you... Maxine, they must think we do. They must think we stupid. It's just funny. It's just funny. Well, it ain't funny for them. It's funny for us. It's sad, but because he coming in on them. And then Corey Lewandowski don't know. Oh, I got emails from him. You don't remember getting an email from him? I don't know. I don't know. But Hillary's crooked. Lock her up when it come to y'all. And look, I've seen Manafort on TV. Them suits didn't look like they was worth $1.4 million. He spent $1.4 million on clothes. He must have been wearing them at night because what he was going to the court in. Okay. And we stupid. And we fake news. Woo! It's a shame that they had to, Maxine, they had to lock, his lawyers locked him in a room, put gloves on him so he couldn't text. This man is 60-something years old. They treat him like a kid because they know if he gets to that phone, he's going to mess up. They literally got to watch him. Yeah. And they didn't want him to do anything about me. Now, you can text about anything else, but they said, don't you say nothing about me because you're going to be, don't do that. And they got to put him in the room like we do kids and watch him. And he's the president. Jesus. Anyway, it's effortless because the branches don't try, they rely. And again, as much as we hate talking about this crazy stuff, if he relied on his people, he wouldn't be in all this hell. But he's smarter than everybody else. He know everything. And that's why his butt in trouble. And as Malcolm would say, the chicken's coming home to roost because they own that rascal. And Lord and Papa Dappers ain't got nothing to lose. He might as well start singing in alphabetical order because he ain't got nothing to lose. And you know what's funny? All these corporate CEOs, they ain't built for jail. They go in there and bubble like, yeah, come on in here. I want more than your oatmeal. Come on. And they kill themselves. I'm serious. The white CEOs, if they go to jail, they kill themselves. They can't take that. Because they used to tell everybody what to do, calling them low lives, and now Bubba waiting on you on the yard. Let me holler at you, player. And they go hang themselves. They do. They can't take a minute in there. They can't. And that's where they going. And they all need to go. Round them up one by one. Stick them in a cage with Bubba and Bubba Jr. and Bubba Sr. Yeah. Daddy said jail change you. So you and I must rely on the life and ministry of the indwelling Holy Spirit that's within us. Watch this. We're going to leave with this. Romans chapter 8, 8 through 11. Y'all see, you see Sarah lying the other day? They was asking a question, and she don't know nothing. She lies. It's a good thing they know body parts don't move when they lie, because, oh, my God, Jesus. So then they that are in the flesh cannot please God. But watch this. But you are not in the flesh, but you are in the Spirit, if so be that the Spirit of God dwell in you. Now, if any man have not the Spirit of Christ, he is none of his. And if Christ be in you, the body is dead because of sin, but the Spirit is life because of righteousness. Now, watch this. Here's where we want to end on, then we're going to pray. But if the Spirit of him that raised up Jesus from the dead dwell in you, he that raised up Christ from the dead shall also quicken your mortal bodies by his Spirit that dwells in you. So you and I have the indwelling Christ inside of us. And if we simply abide and rely, you won't have to try. And you will be successful every time when you rely. Every time you try, you're going to fail. You, me, and the rest of us. So again, if you get nothing tonight, stop trying and start relying. Quit trying to tithe. Quit trying to treat your husband and wife. Quit trying to treat your wife right. Quit trying to not cuss. Abide in the vine, and it's automatic. Pastor, we need the covenant. No, we need the covenant. You need to abide in the vine. And that stuff would drive, if he's in there, he'll drive all that stuff out of you. So stop trying and let's start relying. So let's pray. And remember, this Saturday you get an extra hour of sleep that goes back. So for y'all who's sleepy, that'll be good. Some folk going to come to church early and some going to be late because some going to forget. Eat both ways.